I'm Jason Klom, and this is Comedy on Vinyl. Season, the artist Duck's Breath Mystery Theater, and my guest, Taylor Jessen. Taylor, thank you for being here.
Yo, my pleasure, sir. Delighted to see you again.
So people have heard you a million times on this show, but almost always as either person who has fixed up some albums he had nothing to do with, or Firesign Theater's archivist. But now you are officially, as of a couple years ago, I guess, but still, now you are officially Duck's Breath Theater's archivist as well.
I have adopted them. They have adopted me. Mm-hmm. It's pretty exciting. This is really just why I do this thing, is so that I can find some interesting comedy, some school of comedy, which the Ducks definitely are, and just dig in. And what's great about these guys is that hardly anybody knows their story, and all too few people actually even remember them.
Yeah. Which is annoying. It's too bad. They don't care. They've got careers going. They're good. They don't do Duck's Breath stuff that often, right? What's the last time they were Duck's Breath as a group?
Their 40th anniversary.
That's right.
Yeah. What did they do something? Yeah, they did something in 2015.
Okay.
40th anniversary, and they said that's absolutely it.
Yeah.
Which is it's totally going to be a lie. When it's their 50th anniversary, they're going to do a thing. I'm sure.
Sure. I hope so.
But they have not actually been like a touring thing since about 1989. But.
Right. I what's interesting, so when I interviewed, if you guys haven't heard, I interviewed Jim Turner, I interviewed Merle Kessler separately, both very different stories. If I remember correctly, Firesign was something of an influence on Merle, but not at all on Jim. Jim's like, they're not my thing. So, but what's interesting is you could still hear it. They're kind of Firesign at 3/4 speed. They are not like ba 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 ba. They are not everything running into one another. They're very, they've designated a track for a sketch, and they move on. But okay, when did you first discover them? Because I first discovered them probably through you because of your blog, because I'm sure you cleaned up all of their records.
Yeah, I guess I did. Wow, how did I discover them? eBay must have been involved. I can't remember why I was motivated to buy a copy of this album that we're going to talk about, Out of Season, which came out in 1980. Just was on a list of things to get that I knew something might be happening there, but I didn't know what. I'd been getting into comedy albums just for the sake of finding the really interesting ones, the way you do when you know the big. You grow up on Steve Martin and Monty Python, and then in college I discovered Firesign. After that, I wondered, well, who's left? What can I do? I that was when I bought the Stevens and Gridnick albums, which are both pretty good. I figured out who Del Close was, and got both of those albums, the Do-It-Yourself Psychoanalysis Kit and How to Speak Hip, which he did with John Brand. And Ducks was just another thing that was on the list.
I feel like you mentioned many things. First of all, I feel I should point out people should go listen to my interview with Joy Gridnick, because holy shit, was that an insane episode.
Excellent.
She's a weird lady. And also when you find out that their catalog is literally thousands of things deep because they did stuff just for radio and they did it for, it was all ephemeral. You wonder how she's still functioning, because she's still doing this shit all the time. And I don't know, side note, just go, apparently have you seen the Del Close documentary with James Urbaniak playing Del Close in it?
No, damn it, I don't have that service. I've seen a clip from it.
What's it on? Which one is it on?
Isn't it on Apple?
Oh, well, shit, I just signed up for that. I should go watch it then. I'm a dick for not having watched it.
Oh, you totally should. No, I've seen like a couple of minutes from it. I think James put up a clip on his Twitter.
Okay, good. Well, we should have him on to talk about Del Close, because he's a good choice. It would not have occurred to me immediately that you should cast James Urbaniak, because I was thinking not long ago, somebody needs to make a movie about Del Close, because he was weird. Everybody knows he was an asshole, but he was also seemingly a weird genius, and one of those asshole geniuses who wasn't like a monster, but just a dick. So I'm fascinated.
Right. No. Oh my God. James was born to play him.
Yeah.
The moment you see him, it's like he owns him instantly.
That's so great. That's amazing. Sorry, that is me getting us distracted. This is
No,
like,
absolutely. No, yeah. Stevens and Grindig was another comedy duo that I discovered in college. And
mm-hmm.
yes, they did a huge amount of stuff for radio. They did
Yeah,
have just the two actual LPs, I
yeah.
think, that survived. I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong.
No, I think you're right. And I think I have them, the two of them somewhere. I found the other one the other day. Didn't realize I owned both of them. But they're weird cuts off of their radio shit, which has, by the way, many times been credited to other people, which is one of those things that I find very strange.
Yep, yep. That definitely happens.
This is strictly sketch, and when I say strictly sketch, I mean it is not experimental in the way of Fire Sign. I won't say there's no experimental stuff. In fact, the opening of side 2 is one of my favorite sketches I've ever heard. Once we get to it, it is
That's a killer.
beautiful. It is
Yeah.
beautiful, but it's not as experimental. Is pretty strictly sketch, all born of stage performance, a ton of stage performance. There's such a similar arc to, a lot of sketch groups of a certain period, anywhere from the Marx Brothers up to Fire Sign. It was all like, let's improvise, let's work some shit out on stage. Although if I remember correctly, Jim told me there wasn't a lot of improv, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like they were pretty heavy on the scripting.
You're right. The writing sessions were improv marathons. When they were on stage, they pretty much did not improvise at all. They were very much like Fire Sign that way.
Yeah. That's so fascinating to me.
I guess this might be the part where I should just jump in and give the little capsule.
No, you should. I keep trying to fill air like an idiot. Hit me.
It'll be the thing that I hope sort of explicates how they became who they were. And I also hope none of them ever listen to this, because this is the first time I've tried to put together a capsule history of the Duck's Breath, and a lot of this is going to be wrong. But as far as I can tell, you got what Duck's Breath was 5 guys and their manager, Steve Baker. You've got Leon Martell and Bill Allard. They were both originally from Vermont. Merle Kessler, who grew up in both of the Dakotas and then went to Minnesota for high school. Dan Coffey came from St. Louis, Missouri. Jim Turner was born and bred in Des Moines. I think he lived there all the way into his early 20s. And these 5 guys had theater backgrounds where they grew up, and they all came together at the University of Iowa in Iowa City. Bill and Leon and Merle and Dan were all there to get MFAs in directing and or writing. Merle was the heaviest writer of the group, and Bill and Leon were the heaviest directors. I guess they were most interested in directing. Dan doing both, and Jim was just this weirdo clown. And they found Jim, and when the 5 met, it was comedy at first sight. And I think 1 or 2 of them had a bartender job and got them work as a comedy act. And they needed a name. So Merle thought up Duck's Breath Mystery Theater in about 5 seconds, I think. He's been asked the story of where that name came from 2 trillion times. Sure. So who knows at this point, but I think he literally just, well, that sounds funny. And he turned around and there it was. And he put it on the poster, and that they had their group name. They started off at a club called the Boulevard Room. In February of 1975, they had their first play, Cliff Notes Hamlet. By March, they had another play, Frank Iowa's Magic Notebook, a musical history of Iowa, from prehistory to the present. In April, they had their Castaneda parody, The Teachings of Don Herbert. In May, they had A Midwestern Night's Dream, their Shakespeare parody.
Holy shit.
And and about this time, they start playing at a place called Gabe and Walker's, which was a combination blues club, country club, and gay club, depending on what night.
Amazing.
In June, they have a new play, The Blob Grows Up. They have 3 new plays, actually. Blob Grows Up, Tarzan Died for Your Sins, The Duck of the Baskervilles, and the Johnny serial, Johnny Goes Away, Johnny's Still Gone, Johnny After Bedtime. They're having such a good time. Over the summer, Dan Coffey goes to LA for a job or for study. He doesn't have his MFA yet, so he comes back in the fall. And they keep going. In October, they've got their new play, Gonad the Barbarian. They've got Buck Nelson's Space Convention. They've got a Wistful Elvis, and they've got a Cliff Notes Bible. I think they did for the
Oh
first
my
time there.
God.
So Steve Baker is this journalist, and he's writing for the Quad City Times, and he writes this piece about the Ducks. He's got this big time journalism background, and he likes the Ducks so much. He says, "I got to be your manager," and he does. And they are all having such a good time that they think it's time to take this thing to another city. I can't remember the names of the other places where they thought they might go and didn't decide to go. Maybe the Twin Cities was one option, New York City was one option, but in the end they decided let's take it to San Francisco, which was a pretty good move because geographically, San Francisco isn't just San Francisco, as we all know. It is also everything up and down the coast from Marin to Monterey. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're a group, you can do day trips to all of those places.
Mm-hmm.
So by now they're really, if you had to figure out what they were, you'd call them saloon theater.
Uh-huh.
They are guys who have no problem going into a club and entertaining drunks. Uh, and they can do it because their aesthetic is $1 props, $1 wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing you can do at home in your basement.
Yep.
And they're all inspired by Rocky and Bullwinkle. And they do their act deliberately in places so that the audience can, if they want to, walk out. These you don't know who you're going to be entertaining. It's going to be really smart comedy, but it's also going to be really broad. And if not all the audiences are going to get it, so they specifically wanted to perform in places where the audience could just bail if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So it's 1976, and they decide they are going to drive to San Francisco, which they do in January in a 1967 Impala.
Mm-hmm.
And they find a place to live and they get on food stamps.
Holy shit.
They do their first gigs in February at a place called, I think their first gigs were at the Rush House in Marin.
Mm-hmm.
They are immediate. Everybody, the promoters get it right away. They're immediately working at the Intersection in North Beach. They're at the Other Cafe in the Panhandle in San Francisco, and all these clubs that I'm going to name. These are places they went back to again and again and again because the managers love them, and the crowds love them. They're at Mabuhay Gardens in Jackson Square in San Francisco. Later becomes a famous punk club.
Mm-hmm.
They're at the Shady Grove and the Haight. And this is where things get interesting because by May, Merle had written a play called Saints,
Mm-hmm.
and it was opening previews in New York. Merle goes to New York and he starts shepherding the play, doing rewrites as necessary.
Mm-hmm.
The group stays together. I mean, this is the part where the group by all things being equal, they should have broken up at this point because
Right.
Merle's already left town. They're desperate for work. They've just arrived in a place where they thought they would be hugely popular and very necessary, and they were neither. And then, slowly growing into the kind of group where people want to have them back. But Merle comes back in July. They're playing the Freight and Salvage. They're playing the Long Branch. They're playing the Live Oak Theater. Now they're at Wheeler Auditorium at UC Berkeley. And there's footage of these guys playing on the steps of a public building. They did that a few times before they got handed their card by the police because they didn't know they had to get permits. They start getting permits. They're still playing on steps in patio places. There's home movie footage of them doing their famous "More Than a Box" bit, which is literally the five of them and a box playing, passing the box back and forth, and it is a screaming good time in about 2 minutes. They're just doing that in a patio area in front of a bunch of random people. In August, they played on a bill with the Ramones at the Savoy Tivoli in North Beach.
Wow.
Jim did his Randy character, and someone in the audience threw a bottle at him.
Oh, fuck.
That was their Ramones experience, which of course they turned into the bit that you hear on the album, the Maroons. I've done a nail, I need a shot. In September, they're back out of town doing the Iowa Playwrights Festival. They do the West Dakota in Berkeley on a gig with Sylvester, the queen of disco, who of course did "You Make Me Feel Mighty Real."
Amazing.
they're doing gigs with a group, a funny pop group called Little Roger and the Goosebumps. And near the end of the year, the press is finally starting to notice them. They've become a bona fide nightclub act. By the end of the year, they had played in 70 different venues, including the boarding house, which is always nice. So they've survived their first year. 77, they upgrade to a 71 Ford station wagon. They're gigging all over the upper and lower bay. They're playing local colleges. Dean Jones wants them to write for him. They are interviewed by KSAM for the first time, which is a rock station. They are starting to tour out of state. They're going down to San Diego, and they got up as far as Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
And they're still, just to interrupt for a brief moment, they're still just doing a show at a time. They're not doing sketch because this record is sketch, but they're doing their plays. They're
doing a play, and they start the show. They start most of their shows with a series of shorts. They will come on and do, what the sketch comedy people would, just call blackouts. They'll do short bits. They'll do slightly longer short bits, but the anchor of the evening will be, they will pick a play from their repertoire, and they'd advertise that, but then they would start, auditioning a bunch of plays, shorter bits, to see what got laughs.
Okay, that makes sense.
Dean Jones wants them to write some stuff for him. They record two pieces for NBC's Great American Laugh-Off. So they're doing two pieces for TV. One of them is The Maroons, which is great and short and shouty and wonderful, which you know about. And then they do a piece called Sex Talk. And I don't think there's any video that's available of this online. So I'm just going to, and there's another reason why I hope that the Ducks never hear this, because I'm going to do you the first page.
Okay.
We got Sex Talk. Bishop Rick is seen in the assembly hall. Good morning, second grade boys. You second grade girls out there, get out of here. You're supposed to be down in the jungle gym with Sister Corita. I'm Bishop Rick Sullentrop, and I'm here to talk to you about sexual kinetics with the help of Sister Mundy, Mr. Johnson. Sister Mundy, Mr. Johnson enters, and two of her fifth grade boys, they enter. We're going to show you second graders how to have babies. Now, I know it might not seem important now, but it's just like camping. You figure out what you need, and then you cut it in half. Okay, Cornice, I want you to play the spermazoid. Yo! Cynthia, I want you to play the ovomoid. Okay. And Sister Mundy, you'll play the Holy Spirit. Fine. All right, now let's begin with normal hygienic conception. This is what went on inside your mom, dad 9 months before you came into the big picture. The ovomoid patiently waits in the utopian tubes. Cynthia is the ovomoid. He has a plastic egg on his belt, which he points to. The spermazoid enters, seeking the ovomoid. Cornus, with styrofoam vampire teeth, wanders about looking for Cynthia. And the Holy Spirit, Virgil to the spermatozoids, Dante, helps the spermazoid, finds the ovomoid. Sister Mundy grabs Cornus, points out Cynthia. Contact is made. Cornus and Cynthia slap hands together. Honk, yep. And 9 months later, Baby City. Cynthia pulls a little squeak doll from his shirt and throws it in the air. The three players bow. It goes on for another 2 pages.
Oh my God.
Guess which one of these skits got cut by NBC?
Oh no.
So that was pretty brilliant, and that was their 1977 basically.
Wow.
In 78 they started doing ads for the first time, and these are so charming. One of the great things that I got to do was go through all of their open reels and just digitize everything that they saved. And they started doing local spots. I mean, if you got the same reaction to Fire Signs, Jack Poet ads that most of the people did listening to them, you'll know how well people just started loving ducks. Sometimes they'd identify themselves, duck's breath for BAM, or sometimes they would just do this spot and nobody would quite know who they were, but they were doing bits for BAM. They were doing things for a clothing store called Baby and Company, the Berkeley Barb, Jeff's Jeans, Vic Young Sporting Goods, Satisfied Ear Record Store. And I think this is about the time when they first met with KSAM for the first time. And there's a guy there, a producer named Rick Sadel, who produced some stuff for them, including the album that we're going to talk about.
Right.
He asked them to do a serial, and they do a serial of 30 3-minute episodes, Rodo the Monster from Space. And it airs in June and July, and it airs 3 times a day. And it was so popular that it started getting serialized to other stations. They've got some new shows now: the Winky Todd Everybody's a Star Show, the Lost Book of Moo, and of course the Cliff Notes Bible.
Love it.
They are touring all over the country now: Arizona, Nebraska, Missouri, Washington, Wisconsin, Chicago, Oregon, Utah. They make a demo film and they start shopping it to TV. BAM tells them they can get the Ducks free studio time in some of the studios in the Bay Area, which they start taking them up on. They record some of their first bits. Jim Turner and Bill Griffith meet, the cartoonist Bill who does Zippy. And Jim starts playing Zippy at Duck's Breath gigs.
Wow. That's amazing.
And there's Jim saved some of the 3x5 cards that Bill Griffith made for him, just as examples of insane shit to say on stage. We've got I've got them all scanned here. Is a tattoo real, like a curb or a battleship? What can I blow up? Little girls are taking showers behind trees. I represent a sardine or a bus. An Italian is combing his hair in downtown Des Moines. Excuse me, but I have an appointment. Imagine that going on for about 10 minutes on stage. He was obviously instantly popular.
Yeah.
Also, at some point, we've got oblique strategies. The oblique strategies were known at this time, I think, by a lot of artists. The Ducks made their own oblique strategies cards. Let's write a song about sensible shoes. That's one card. Make up 5 words and their meanings. See who can hold their breath the shortest. See who can hold their breath the longest. See who can hold their breath the middlest. Everybody leave for 10 minutes and come back with a prop you find on the street. Write them into what you're working. This is brilliant. It just goes on for pages. I won't do all of these. They're too good. And some of these turned into some of their songs. When we get to 1979, we get to the single that they did, which includes a song called Household Appliances that literally comes from one of the oblique strategies card. They're going to do a song about household appliances, and he did. I think they got this single made because they were interviewed by a sympathetic soul, Bill Knight, at the Prairie Sun, which was out of Peoria, Illinois, and he hooked them up with Rumble Records in Peoria, who, calling themselves the Friends of Duck's Breath, put out the first Duck's Breath single, When Girls Collide, and which is on the album, and Household Appliances, which is also on the album. 79 is about the time when they start recording this album, and they've got some new pieces. They're doing some new stage pieces here. I'm just going to describe one to you because it's never going to be on an album of any kind. Obviously, it's their Bergman parody, "Sonata My Fault." In the famous image from Persona, I think it is. There's one of Bergman's actors is looking straight at the camera and the other is in profile, and they are right next to each other, or looked at orthographically, so that it looks like one half of the face is covered and the other half is looking straight ahead. It's a famous iconic image. Imagine 3 members of Duck's Breath going up to a member in the front row of the audience and just doing that. They're maybe a foot ahead above. If the audience is on the floor, then Ducks are maybe 12 inches above the audience's head at that point. So literally probably only about 6 people in the first and second row can see what they're doing, while the Ducks explain to the rest of the audience what they're doing. Then they move on to the next thing. When I heard that described, I was going, yeah, you guys own my soul at this point. But they start doing bits for NPR, for the Satellite Program Development Fund. They almost do a record deal with somebody called Solid Smoke, but this is about the time when they actually start getting advice from Phil Austin and David Osman of Firesign,
Okay.
who would start advising them on their records. And Osman says, I don't like the language in this contract, and they didn't go with it. So they went.
Wow.
They went in the end with Richard Foos at Rhino,
Mm-hmm.
who, if you look at the album cover, you'll see that it is on Duck's Breath Records,
Right.
with thanks to Richard Foos. Basically, it's a Rhino record.
Okay.
They did the manufacturing.
Interesting. Okay. That's funny. Now, that's so strange. Now, I had a few questions. Do you know, how much do you know about the guys who did, well, I want to get into the content of the record. However, I really love the cover and I love their logo very much. How much do you know about the artists / photographers who have worked on this stuff?
This is terrible. I can't remember the artist's name, but I think they scored that duck logo in 1978-ish, and it stayed with him ever since.
His name is Greg Scott. I'm going.
Oh, good.
Off of,
oh, yeah,
yes.
he's credited. That's right.
Yeah, he is. It's a great logo. It's a very good robot spacey ducky logo, which is great. It's a very good logo. And then the front cover. So it says the front cover was by. Oh, now I lost it. It's probably on the back here. I'm looking online. Art design, Laura Dunham. Thanks, Laura. Very helpful of you to do that. Where the hell did the cover fucking photo go? Well, I've lost it, Taylor.
That's management cover photo and hand tinting by Bennett Hall.
Thank you.
Yeah, they went to wherever that famous landmark is in San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
And, one of them tells the story that there was a local theater company that was doing some really good costuming shit for one of their productions, and they had to get rid of the costumes fast. And I think Ducks bought them all.
Oh my god!
For like maybe $50, and so they take these 5 of these great Shakespearean costumes, put them on, and jump in that pond, and keep doing photographs until they get kicked out.
Comedy theater people are hoarders, more so than I think regular theater people.
Yes.
I will say this: being involved in a drinking game, we have the same dollar prop, dollar costume aesthetic. Although sometimes we'll spend more money than we should, but. You ask Natalie, who started the show, and she has an entire storage facility dedicated to all the shit from that show. And it's also, it does, you sometimes get the fucking offcuts from other people's shit just to function, or because like, oh, but don't throw that away. I'll use it, which you may never use, but it feels
you get stuff because it's beautiful, because you think you might need it, or you get stuff that's completely random and you write something around it. It's really a back and forth between you and those inanimate objects.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted your history. I'm sure there's more to tell
that's,
about until we get to the record.
it. I brought you up to date. We can definitely go into the album proper.
Well, then my first question is maybe not the first question on the record, but I'd like to ask you, what is taconite?
It comes from the ground there.
What is taconite? Well, try to imagine a world without taconite. This is
hard to do.
Oh, it's so good. There's nothing bad on this record. I'm going to start there. There's nothing bad on this record. There might be some things that are a bit slower than the rest, but I don't care. Like, it's all functionally funny and sounds good. It's mixed well.
This is all so good. And once you get out of the first thing on the record is Meet Mr. Silly, which is does not have a punchline and will throw you if you're expecting some other kind of album. But they got me instantly with that, because it was just it's so strangely dark. The children's show host is suddenly he's going completely existential, and the kids are just screaming, laughing at him. So as a guy who's into dark comic theater, I was on board right away. But yes, the taconite bit is one of those absolute killer 500-mile-an-hour skits. It's just a constant bed of laughs.
I will also say, if you get the LP, which is I always recommend you do, it's not hard to find, honestly. Or if you go to Taylor's website, it's probably still up there, I'm assuming. But there are little historical blurbs about all the sketches. There's at least a little bit of something, but some of them have a nice little fake history to go along with them, because Mr. Silly was on the Dumont Network, which, come on, a Dumont Network reference is always funny. I think it's impossible for that not to be funny.
Yes, absolutely. Always Dumont Network. If you mention the Dumont Network, I'm going to be on your side right away.
Um, the so there's Meet Mr. Silly, then there's the history of Taconite, which seems to be responsible for everything, pretty much. There's too much. I couldn't write down, like I was trying to catch up and like write the stuff I found funny, but by the time I'd written down the setup that was already funny, I didn't get to the rest of it. But I mean, it's from the Minnesota Land Invasion Company, where you are a problem for us.
For us.
It's so good.
Everything about it is brilliant. From the initial setup of it being an educational film to the history. Henrietta, there's something coming out of the ground there, and then the three people coming in with contracts with a car, forged contracts, and a dream, and just everything about it is it works. Oh man, it works like clockwork. And then we go into the taconite factory and we discover that taconite is made in a secret box you can't see into. People are chanting taconite, 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 taconite. And just when it's delivered, is delivered in the form of every product in a household. And Leon comes back with the immortal line, "God bless you, taconite man." It's just unstoppable.
There's so much. It's well, when I talked to Jim Turner about it, I was like, look, you guys are, for me, it's like a more approachable fire sign. It was easier for me because it's not as dense. That is one big thing. It's not as dense. Re-listening, funny every time. You're just not going to discover 1,000 jokes and under jokes and like a million little things going. It's not that attention to detail, because no one has ever done that ever, with maybe one exception. And that is just a giant tribute to Firesign anyway. So
I think we both know which one you're referencing.
Yeah. It is a record I'm angry I didn't make. It doesn't matter. Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. It's really funny. The Maroons is, I mean, this is, I don't know. Okay, actually, I'll point something out. The Maroons feels like a Stan Freberg bit, but funnier, because I don't hate Stan Freberg, but his angry at music sketches are always like, God, you're just being an angry old man.
He's honestly angry and just hates the music that he's doing.
Yeah. Whereas
only so far you can go with him. Really.
Yeah. And so, which is why I like his history, the history of America. That's great. That's great. There's less bitterness. This reminds me of it, but it is also like them just like literally saying the names of instruments and shit. It's so fucking stupid. It's so dumb. This is the stuff I grew up doing as a kid, I feel like. And again, they get to commit it to vinyl, and it's beautiful.
It really is kind of the beautiful aspect of their whole aesthetic, which is they all came from serious theater backgrounds. And I mean, the reason that they became a group was that they had massive simpatico, but they also knew that as serious theater people, they were just instantly going to be doomed. Get your MFA, go out there, starve, do something with people you probably won't like, and tiny budget, and everything's going to be so serious. Whereas these guys all liked Rocky and Bullwinkle and DIY ethos all the way. That's how they stayed together for as long as they did, because they didn't need $1 million sets. They were just having fun making each other laugh.
So this record wouldn't have happened though if they hadn't been offered free studio time, is what I'm understanding.
I think you're right. This would not have happened unless they got that free studio time. They could. They took months and just. Well, when we get up to, I'll tell you. When we get up to another bit, when the interesting part of the aspect of getting free studio time and how they took that to its logical conclusion.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
But Bomba the Jungle Boy is. There's 2 bits. On the LP. There were 4 originally, and it was a full serial, which will come out at some point. But it's basically just what it sounds like, a radio serial about Bomba the Jungle Boy and how he's coming to Missouri to stay with a normal family. How, Missouri trees, they're not the same. He misses the jungle. What can you say? And it's I think Dan Coffey must have written most of this.
Mm-hmm.
Dan has been described. I just had lunch with Leon for the first time, and we got
Mm-hmm.
a great perspective on the other guys in the group. I have not ever met Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Dan is bizarro. He will
Yeah.
he's the exploding Flint bizarro rock that will throw out weird shit.
Love it.
Um, and also the general impression that I'm getting from the guys is that they will rehearse together, they'll write stuff, they'll bring stuff to the group, but I think every line of dialogue that comes from a person's mouth came from that person's head. So they
Mm-hmm.
will all write together, they will have a shared, point of view of where the sketch needs to go, but
Oh.
every guy in the group writes his own dialogue.
Wow. Okay, that's weird. I have never heard of that idea in my life. I love
Well,
it.
that was true in 1978 in an article that
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
in an interview. I don't know, things might have changed. He might
Sure,
have been
but
back, but yeah, it's
that's
very
weird.
much the guys would own their own words, really,
Wow.
when it comes to writing.
That is a say what you will about like co-writing and trusting the other guys to write their own sketches on their own like Python did. To me, there's a lot more trust in like everybody's in the room. I'm going to trust everybody to stay on the same page while also being unique and let's commit all this. That's trust. That is trust and beyond experimental to me. I've just never, maybe there are other groups who've done it, but it's not a way I've ever heard of writing. I love it.
It is really interesting that they decided to do that. It's all part of the ethos of the saloon theater too. It's just
Mm-hmm.
these are five really smart guys who are not, literally in 78 part of their advertising campaign was dare to be stupid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This would be the stupidest, silliest, insane stuff on stage, but it will also be uh, incredibly smart and have a background of knowledge of other theater that obviously puts them ahead of Cheech and Chong and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the more popular groups that would go out and do shit. These were guys who would attract a smart audience, make an audience smarter, and that's a big reason I like them.
Yeah. No, that's fair. They, I, what's the next one? Oh yeah. Okay. So, bang the mo slowly, which is who the fuck's idea was this period? It's great. The voices aren't even all that accurate, but that's not really the gag.
Yeah.
It's why don't you walk the audience through it, Taylor? Because
We're think Playhouse 90 but just for radio, and
uh-huh.
it's Bang the Drum Slowly, but it's about the Stooges. We have to we have to rescue the spirit of Mo. Mo is down, he's in the hospital, and his other Stooges have to come and try and cheer him up, and they sound the Stooge alarm. And all the fifth Stooges come from all over the United States. Curly, Mo Curly, Curly Shemp, Shemp Curly Joe, Mo Shemp, all came running and they all come and cheer him up, and fists and fingers go flying.
Yeah, yeah. That's I don't know that you can
They got
describe it any
vomits
better
in the
than that.
pajamas. I got sleazy feet. Leave me alone. Yeah, Firesign would not have done this bit.
No.
Firesign and Ducks have a lot of interesting overlaps, but this
Mm-hmm.
is, Ducks would just burn down the stage you were on if it would get a laugh.
Yeah.
They would go really stupid and and get so many good laughs from it.
Mm-hmm. This is what's, I mean, the further I get into this record, the further I'm just like, I mean, I'm hoping there's an opportunity at some point to physically see them live. I would love to see them live. Are there recording video? What's out there video wise of them?
Nothing's out there video, but there is an archive. There's a lot of video in the archive. This is the part where you and I both know far too much about, which is that if you have a tape archive and it's VHSs or UMATs, you need to find a way to either steel yourself to the idea of, you're going to buy your own deck. You're going to take your chances. You're going to hope the deck doesn't break, and you're going to all bung it all in at ProRes 422 into Final Cut 7, and hope for the best, and hope that you can hope it isn't too damaged.
Yeah.
Too many static bursts on it. Maybe get somebody to do color correction on it, or you spend a huge amount of money and you get it done professionally. And
Sure.
this is the conundrum that Dux is in. They have this fantastic archive of UMATs and VHSs, and I haven't seen most of it. Now, there's a little bit of this on YouTube. You can see bits. I think you can see just a clip of them doing the Osmonds doing "I Want to Be Sedated," things like that. And there's versions of back in '78 or '79. I think they did their first demo tape, and who is the gentleman who is MC Frontalot?
Oh, yeah. I apologize for not remembering his actual name. Actually, maybe I don't know it now that I think about it, because he goes by that everywhere. So I don't know.
I apologize for not remembering him. God damn it. We both are apologetic as hell, Mr. MC Frontalot. He, as a small child, is cut to at the end of the Duck Spread skit when they did their demo video. He was a kid growing up in the Bay Area at the time, and his parents brought him to a whole bunch of Duck Spread shows, and he would gift them with drawings of the ducks in performance. And at the end, in their demo tape, I think, they do more than a box, and there's no audience, and they cut to the reverse angle, and it's just this kid on a tricycle. So there are bits that exist out there, but oh my God, what I'm really trying to help them out with in any way I can is to get some of these old shows in a way that people can see and buy.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So I'm assuming then there's not a lot of film, just video. Video is what we're dealing with.
Just video. Although if you want to jump to like 1987, 1988, there was a 12-episode, 13-episode Dr. Science, half hour.
Oh, yeah. Right. That's true. You did mention that.
And, oh, God, I want to see it. I want to see this stuff. I want to see it. We all want to see it. I can't see it yet. It's a problem.
Bastards. I don't know who's the bastards. The world, I guess. Is that who I'm calling bastards?
Life. I think fate. But anyway, there are probably there's video of some of these bits. Some of the bits that you hear on the album, there is video of, and they're like every other touring group. They would have a shtick, and they would have certain things that they would do again and again as they go on tour across the States. What are some of the things in here that they would do? Well, if we go on to if we can move off to Fuzzy Squirrel in the North,
sure.
A very short book report, a brilliant book report from Merle Kessler. That's actually part of a longer piece, which I hope people will be able to hear at some point.
Oh, okay.
Where everybody, it takes place. It's a bit that takes place in a classroom. The teacher is teaching English, played by Jim Turner, and the other 4 guys are students, and they all have to watch. They put on a Cheech and Chong record, and they have to do a bit of creative writing while they're listening to the record. And the record sounds like this: Dave, 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 Dave. And once this record is done, the kids read their poems, and Merle didn't have time to read a poem. He write a poem. He only had that book report. So that's what was cut out of.
Oh my God! A comedy album referencing another comedy album? Has that happened even? This is so annoying. Oh my God! I need to hear this. Jesus Christ, Taylor, that's so good. Referencing it and obviously tearing it down to the ground, because that's amazing. Dave,
let me just assure everybody that I don't want to tease you with things that you'll never be able to hear. As archivist, I promise the things I described that are unreleased will be released. I just can't say when or where.
Of course, no, fair. That's absolutely fair. That sounds fantastic. Damn it, that's good.
But that's a very funny bit.
That's very good. I don't have a lot of, as I explained, had a power outage as I was trying to listen to this. So some of my notes disappeared. So I then my notes then skipped to the Transvestite Farmers Association, but we can talk about whatever you like. I just don't have.
Well,
any
let me
notes
take
on
let
this.
me take a short tour through Soup. When we
Please,
talked
yes.
about how they were doing, they had free studio time in studios. A
Mm-hmm.
thing they liked to do at certain points was just go in and
Mm-hmm.
have their producer play random sound effects records and music. Gosh, what does this sound like? This is exactly what Firesign did back in their days of radio, and they got a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the same results. They would just improvise to these records and just think up shit, and some of it just killed, and most of it was just like bad piano practice. But they would they tear up a lot of this free studio time doing this, and the producer either loved him or hated him for it.
Yeah.
But Soup is part of like there's like a good 8-minute cut of
Mm-hmm.
Soup, which is just stuff they improvised randomly on top of music and sound effects. This Soup itself doesn't really make any sense, and it can't.
Mm-hmm.
It won't, because it didn't exist until it came out of their mouths. They're saying random things. The way they describe it on the back of the record is number 9, number 9, number 9 for all you Beatles fans. So obviously this is just the random funny, like it's like 3 seconds or something of just random shit that made them laugh. And then they cut instantly out of it into something else when they realize, when they know they've worn out their welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing they cut to is Caffeine Zombie,
Yes.
which is a Leon Martel bit, which he did for NPR.
Okay.
79, I think, was the first year they started doing things for NPR, and this was one of those bits.
Mm-hmm. Which I do not have any notes on. All I remember is it being a song about being a caffeine zombie. If I don't have my notes, I'm fucking lost. This is the problem.
No, Sanka, thank you. It's cappuccino time. It's a great bit. It's one of his classic, all-time classic bits. It's good. But then as you say, we go up to the Transvestite Farmers Association. It starts as a skit. They're just two guys. It's Merle and Leon who come on stage and drag and start talking about how they are drag Aggies in the Transvestite Farmers Association of Argo Fay, Iowa, born out of the night when there was a prom, but all the women were on the basketball team. They were all out of town, and their coach said, "You fellas go get some dresses from the shop, and we'll have the biggest goddamn prom this goddamn town's ever seen." And it was. And the drag Aggie movement leads to the guys doing their actual farming in drag, which is how the coach dies. And then they do their song, the drag Aggie anthem, which is heartbreaking and wonderful and heartfelt. And they go straight out of that into Household Appliances. So this bit was recorded live on stage in 78 or 79. But after they start into the second song, they fade into the single, or the single version of the song, which, as I said, they did for that Rumble Records back in the previous year. And that's the end of the side.
Yeah.
And then we go side 2 open
thing on the whole fucking record. Okay, so who's the voice of the record? Let's start.
The voice of the record is Leon Martel.
It is Leon Martel. Okay. Anybody could be a record. Drag a needle across your face, and then for you, just lay down on the floor.
You're bigger than me, so you should use a steak
knife.
So put the knife down.
He's so excitedly telling you to cut concentric circles or just cut a spiral into your face. It's so good.
This is the best part of his day, where he gets to tell the kids how to make circles on their face with a steak knife. Well, of course it hurts the first time. Oh God. And it's so quick and so simple, and I don't know why I find that so delightfully funny. I think it's because anytime you directly reference the fact that you're on a record, you're going to get my attention because I'm a very simple man. But then it goes into that, and all of a sudden it's a kids show, but the most violent kids show. Oh, it's beautiful. It's so good. It's perfect. It's perfect. Then we have a small song out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know much about this song. It says, as it says on the back of the album, it's from one of their shows, The Teaching of Don Herbert. But literally all there is to this song is there's a whole lot of places I ain't been before, and a lot of places wouldn't let me in before, but I don't care if I'm sick and growing old. I'll just stand right here and dig a hole. So on the other guys, on the other guys, I just like it here.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of perfect.
Mm-hmm. Again, they have not once overstayed their welcome on this entire record. They know how to.
They really didn't.
Like
it's perfectly cut.
Like, because they're, but even in moments where they might drag a joke out, it's dragged out at the perfect moment for the perfect length. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's frustratingly good. And it's all, I'm assuming, then born out of, knowing the timing of a stage show. Because some people will know the timing of their stage show, but then be like, oh, but I have the freedom of a record now. I can stretch it out all I want. I can do now, where Firesign, I think, knew they had a record. They're like, well, we can just experiment more with time and experiment more with this. But I feel like these guys still stuck to what they knew worked on stage and said, no, this works. It'll still work on a record. Let's do it the same length, same kind of beats, relatively the same thing. That's my feeling anyway. Because again, nothing overstays.
I think that's correct. There's a balance on the record of bits that you can tell that they have been doing live on stage and that have costumes and beats that are determined by the stage. And then there are things like Taconite and like the thing we're going to talk about, Love Under Par and Dogman, which are radio riffs and specifically record riffs, which are done at 500 miles an hour and exquisitely edited and really well produced in terms of the the background sound effects and music cues. Really tightly edited stuff.
When we go back to Mr. Silly again, I do not have a note for this, so you're going to have to walk me through this one. I don't remember it.
Boy, what are the bits? The first Mr. Silly bit is where he's given a knock knock joke and it ends in the middle of the joke and he goes into a screaming apoplectic fit about how the puppet hates him. What's the second bit? Oh, that Mr. Silly gets a letter at one point. Letter for you, Mr. Silly. There's postage you. You forgot to stamp it. Oh! Yeah! So basically he gets his foot broken for a laugh. That's traditional. What's the next Mr. Silly? He I can't remember now. I remember the finale. The finale is just the kids chanting, hit Mr. Silly, hit Mr. Silly, hit Mr. Silly. And soon after that episode, as the jacket says, Mr. Silly left the air. There's another there. I did find one more Mr. Silly in the archives where we joined Mr. Silly at a bar, and he's very, very drunk. It's pretty good. That'll get out there at some point too. But I'm sorry, I can't remember what this Mr. Silly bit is.
No, please, it's fine. I'm the one who should have been taking notes. But Love Under Par. Okay, I didn't write the descriptor down, but one of them has aphasia. Correct? Is that? And so,
golfer. He was a singer with aphasia. Together, they set the world on fire with their love. I think this is a Jim Turner bit. Those bits the first voice you hear in Love Under Par is Jim Turner.
Okay.
So that's definitely a bit that Jim Turner wrote because there are, once you get into the archive of bits that they did for NPR, you'll hear, that's how I really figured out their voices, because you would hear bits just by Dan Coffey, where he's doing these insane monologues. You'd hear bits by Merle. The bits by Merle are what led to his Ian Scholl's character. Dan's bits led to Dr. Needleman and then later Dr. Science. Leon Martel's, you'd hear his voice in individual bits. And Jim Turner, and Bill obviously would do those bits too. And Jim Turner's bits, there's a skit that he takes literally 2 minutes. It's coming soon on this TV station promo, where the 2-minute promo is how long it takes to describe the bit, what's coming up next. Where he's describing the plot so far. It takes 2 minutes, and it is leaping in a way. I'm ruining it by describing it, but it leaps in a way. If you remember the interstitials in the Monty Python and the Holy Grail album,
Mm-hmm.
where Eric Idle suddenly has to do the story so far
Yeah,
bit, and
yeah,
it
yeah.
completely jumps randomly. Plucky Matilda tripped on a sticky near Hastings, and she enforces and she Enrico, mafia boss Enrico Fermi, and it goes through about 100 plot points in
Mm-hmm.
90 seconds. Jim loved doing that,
Okay.
and some of his best bits are like that. But this feels a lot like his part, where he'll just come up with insane made up names
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
things that they're doing, movies they've been in. He
Mm-hmm.
describes the song the song you're going to hear, the hit song "Love Under Par" that you're going to hear in the movie. And then Merle Cussler comes in and sings it. Love, 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 love is like a golf ball on the green. Heads up, everyone, 'cause love is seldom seen. Um, it's pretty unstoppably good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just your basic trailer for a movie about a golfer. I don't think you should see him, darling. But Daddy, he brings me luck and he carries my clubs.
And
It's
then
perfect.
every other word that he says is of course the wrong one. Pencil, pickle, desk lamp. Just it's a gag that will always work. That will
Yes.
infinitely, I think,
Yes.
that joke works. What? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. The Swami. Shit. I don't have notes on it. Oh, yeah. It's a guy pretending to be a Swami or thinks he's a Swami. Shit. You're going to have to walk me through it. That's all I can
Yeah,
remember.
he's doing both. And
Yeah.
there are two other Swami bits. The one that's on the album is he's just, I'm the Swami, and he's got a ketchup bottle, and he says this the see the spirits move the ketchup, and Merle's in the background going, he didn't move the ketchup, you knocked the table. No, I didn't, chicken head fart. I got powers. And at the end he knocks him out and says, "Can you hear me? Knock twice for yes." Ha! It worked. That's really all there is to the Swami character. You're right. He thinks he's doing it, and he isn't. He believes he's a Swami. There's another Swami bit where he's got a machine gun and he's not going to kill all the people in the room because he swears he's going to turn the bullets into magical things that will not kill the people. There's another very dark bit where the Swami is trying to convince the little girl that she doesn't need to be afraid and she can go in that bear cage and fight that bear. It's pretty good.
That's pretty great. That's fantastic. Shit. What's Dr. Audio? That's the next one, and I no
Dr.
notes.
Audio, it's sort of a feature piece for Dan Coffey, and Dr. Audio has been invited onto a quiz show where he has to identify certain sounds.
Okay. Yeah.
And he cannot identify a very, very recognizable sound, but the caller can, and that's all. That's all there is to that. Then they go into the A side of their single, When Girls Collide.
Yeah.
A Tale of Roller Derby.
Yeah. It's very well produced. Roller derby. What it was? This 1980. Sure, roller derby's a thing. Yeah. Very in the zeitgeist.
That's sung by Jim, so I'm assuming he wrote that.
Okay, that makes sense. That does make sense.
Jim's pretty goddamn musical, it turns out. He's been in a couple bands since. One was called Child's Portion, and they had a lot of gigs in the mid '80s. They would all play just children's instruments. And he was in another band called Boomer, who recorded a lot of tracks together, and they put out a single, which wasn't on Discogs until I put it up. These guys didn't have a lot of play outside of San Francisco. They were like the Baltimores, who was a trio, an a cappella trio that put out a single, and which were amazing, but never made it really out of San Francisco. These guys would all gig together for years in the Bay Area in the mid '80s. So all the wacky people knew each other. Karamazovs. I don't think they ever actually gigged with Robin Williams, but they were around when he was gigging.
Okay, sure.
Kevin Pollak came up in the Bay Area too, and they were probably on some bills together with Dana Carvey and Jay Leno.
Mm-hmm.
So all this whole comedy mafia, everybody knew each other.
That's so weird. Yeah, I guess I'd forgotten that that's the era that we're looking at, and I always forget how many of those weirdos were up there at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Or when I say weirdos, I mean people who I consider to be very mainstream and boring, like Jay Leno. It's very weird that he would be like,
They practically all start out as weirdos. They're
yeah,
doing
yeah,
bits that blow people's minds, and
sure.
then they're on TV, and they
And Monica
have to,
Lewinsky happens, and you make Monica Lewinsky jokes to this day. If you're Jay Leno, you
yes,
just don't stop.
you don't stop. You bang on that
Mm-hmm.
to the end,
Mm-hmm.
whenever
Mm-hmm.
that may be.
Whatever that may be.
Then we have then it goes straight into another Jim piece, Earwax.
Earwax.
That was Chuck Mangione listening to Ella Fitzgerald. What does it sound like? Not a whole lot.
It's just
He
so
just
many
goes into
things
this complete off. He goes completely off on research volunteers and how they've been doing this work, and then he just derails himself and says, "Research volunteer. How would you like to be called a research volunteer?" It's pretty wonderful. So that leads into the big anchor piece. This is one of a couple of well, Dan Coffey wrote the piece, Dogman. Dan Coffey wrote the other really great long piece for their second album, The Mole Men. Dan wrote pieces like this literally throughout his career. He would write these comic, insane genre pieces, horror pieces, dramas that turn out to have some insane aspect to them. They'd be some of them would be bits that Ducks would perform, and some would be one-act plays that would be performed on bills with other bits. That was the thing about Ducks, and they were in with the comedy community, but they were also very much in with the theater community in the Bay Area, and they would do evenings where it would be members of Ducks, but it would not be the Ducks breath. Leon did a one-man play, a monologue called The Big Fritter, about a kid coming home to his family for the first time. It was on a bill with a play by Merle Kessler. There was a musical that he did with his friend Raoul Brody, who did music for their second album. And there was a play, a one act by Dan Coffey on that night as well. So these are guys that the band literally broke up after about 3 years. And it didn't mean a thing because they were all still in town together and doing things and performing. And they were the Ducks breath, but they were also doing these things as asides. They had their own careers as writers, directors, actors. That all was happening concurrently with Ducks, and that was how it was all the way through '89 when they did their movie, which failed, and that was kind of the end of Ducks Breath as a touring unit.
I had forgotten this bit entirely, Dogman, which is purportedly the story of a man slowly turning into a dog, but the narrator is also a character and keeps reminding him and everybody else to return their overdue library books. That's the part that just gets to me. And maybe my favorite bit is a bus driver. "Oh, somebody's late for the bus. Thanks for calling this to my attention, passengers." Something that has never happened in the history. It's so good. But it's all the the guilt of the overdue library books was getting to him or whatever. Like the narrator's misreading everybody's fucking motivations. I don't think I've ever heard a less reliable, not just an unreliable narrator. This is a demented narrator who is on his own shit, and it's so great. It's so great.
It's pretty classic.
I'm sad I didn't remember this bit because it's very good. It's very funny.
Yeah, and Jim plays the poor guy who is slowly turning into a dog who collects these dog figurines, the Hummel figurine. Gives his wife a Hummel figurine of a African Bazenji. And then she doesn't really want it, so he says, "Oh, can I have it?" And he takes it in the other room. "I'm going to put you away with the other guys, little fella. Can't wait you to meet them all." And Bill Allard plays his boss,
Mm-hmm.
and also the library policeman at the end of the bit,
Mm-hmm.
who has to come after these books at the very end of the skit. Merle plays his wife, and Leon plays his son, who's just delighted. It was nice having a dad and everything, but he's happy just having dad turn into a dog. And there's more puppies at the end. Do I call them my brothers or my puppies? Well, whatever they are, they're just fun now. Ha 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 ha. It's amazing.
Okay, so the rest of it, this is where because of my power outage, I didn't get to listen to the rest of it. So I'm being honest with everybody. So Taylor, you're gonna have to walk me through the last 4 things because I don't remember them.
We're gonna start with Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, yep.
Santa Claus is about 12 seconds. A son talks to. Well, I might as well just do the thing. Imagine like an instrumental version of Jingle Bells is playing underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what you hear. "Daddy, Daddy, make Santa go away." "I can't, son. He's grown too powerful." Ho, ho, ho. That's it. It's it's like everything. It really is like everything on this album. That it kills and moves on in an instant.
Yep.
More of their experience of doing blackouts on stage, but they can do the longer bits too. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But after Santa Claus, we have a song, India,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really catchy song, which they say is from the soundtrack of Duck of the Baskervilles.
Uh-huh.
Guess it makes sense. It's about it takes place in Victorian age. It's all about India.
Uh-huh.
Something old Britannia. All the bloody time, but one can get a nice tania in these sunny climes. And it just goes into sort of Gilbert and Sullivan thing where they say, "India, rice and curry, and the rest. India, right? There's no hurry. Of all the English colonies, you're the best." It's Gilbert and Sullivan for about 2 minutes. This is where first time listeners to Ducks will realize how good these guys were at close harmony.
Mm-hmm.
They were awfully good.
Love it.
They did a lot of songs in their act, including an 4-minute opera called The Four-Hole Buick, which is arias and recitatives delivered by 2 guys with a backing chorus in a used car lot. And they would do the Osmonds on stage. They did the Ramones, obviously, as the Maroons. These guys were good singers. And it took me a couple of listens to figure out that they're actually double tracking in India, but sounds amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
There's like up to 10 parts that you're hearing at the end of the song. It's a live. They perform it live, and then tracked it in the studio. But it's a really well produced song and very, very catchy.
On the back, it is described as a wistful salute to 19th century imperialism in B sharp, which I think is great.
It's pretty awesome.
Or does it say B sharp? It says B something. I don't know what that says. I don't know my notes.
It's B flat.
B flat. That's what it is. Okay, yeah. Sharp's the pound sign, huh? I don't know my music symbol. I can't read music, so.
I wish I could remember some verses from the song for you, but
it's fine.
Something to playing, so I'll sit here on the veranda with my dynamite cocaine. There's no one left to torture and nothing left to smoke, so I'll sit on the veranda with my coke, singing India.
Damn it! I'm sad that I didn't get to listen to it again. The next one is entitled "Mr. Silly Finale,"
and that is the bit where Mr. Silly is heckled into giving up his show. Basically, he's hit. And Caveat Emptor is the last very, very short track on the album. And Leon says, you've been listening to this record for which you paid this. You paid how much? Man, you could have gone out and done something and been alive instead of just spending this on just stupid fart jokes and guys of poop heads coming out of the Midwest and joking. Oh my God, his face imploded. And that's it.
Oh, what the fuck is this record? That's great. It's pure comedy. It's got like, I don't know. So again, this is 1980. I'm trying to remember other sketch that was around this time. I'm sure Cheech and Chong had a 1980 record. What did Firesign have out in 1980?
Oh, around 1980, there was their Fighting Clowns period. So they
Oh,
were
right.
doing
Yeah,
short
okay.
bits. They weren't really doing skits so much, but they were doing
Mm-hmm.
really dark, interesting comedy stuff. Like on the Fighting Clowns album, there's a bit called the Four Gobs, where they
Mm-hmm.
all sing just a verse from their own song. And Proctor sings, I want a certain girl, a certain kind of girl. She's got to be this and that and that. I want a sort of girl, the kind of girl who's married. They're all singing about, and Bergman can't think about any mistress except for nuclear war. Really
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sweet, dark stuff.
Yeah.
But who else? This is about the time that Python did Contractual
Yep.
Obligation,
Absolutely. As I was just
a
looking that
really
up.
strong piece of sketch writing and songwriting. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
songs by Eric. An amazing period where they probably had twice as much in the can
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't release
Right.
as much as what was on the record.
Yeah. 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 I'm looking at Cheech and Chong. This is a record I've never heard, which is just Let's Make a New Dope Deal. I'm guessing Cheech and Chong had about 3 records that are strong enough to function as their greatest hit record, and then that's about it. I love them. I love them. They sound beautiful, but like not chance takers really.
Not really. I mean, the only things that really made an impression on me that I actually ever owned were Wedding Album and Los Cochinos.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean
When you're young,
are
Los Cochinos, those are really well produced, as you
yeah.
pointed out.
Yeah.
Really good money comedy. A lot of
'Cause-
money went into making them sound really good.
Yeah. I mean, they brought in Lou Adler, who was producing brilliant music, and somehow I still don't know the story of how he got. I don't know because I can't get him on the show. I want to know how he got involved in those records because I don't. I dare say those records wouldn't have worked if they hadn't
Is he
been
still
put together.
alive?
Well, when I last checked, he was. It's a good question. I don't know. When I last requested to have him on the show, he was. Yeah, he's still around. He's just super old. He's like 87. Okay. Yeah,
There you go.
87 and still wearing what looks like a Kangol hat. He's a very hip-looking dude. He always looks like he's on some sort of safari with a bunch of other producers. He's got a look. He's got a look.
I'm looking through I'm looking through my own record collection here for anything else that came out in 80.
80,
And
yeah.
just Fighting Clowns so far.
Yeah.
I was only 8, so it was too early for me to go out and buy records.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any musical comedy record memories from
Sure.
1980. It's hard to think of. Was David Steinberg still recording? He was big in the mid 70s, but he might have
Right.
been done at that point. How about Martin Mull?
Oh God. I mean, I'm sure that's a good question because he has the most records of any artist that I own that I haven't listened to. Because I listened to about 2 of them and I was like, okay, I got it, I'm good. And I love Martin Mull. His records don't hit me in the same way that other comedy of the. No, 79 was his last album and his last single. So just which would have been Sex and Violins because that's the kind of thing he named his stuff.
Yeah. We got, I'm at the Wikipedia page for 1980s. Well, 1980s is a whole decade. Does it have a 1980 page? No, it does not. It was listing a whole bunch of 80s stuff, which I, as a comedy connoisseur, knew did not come out in 1980.
I will say Contractual Obligation, though, is maybe my favorite of the other more standard-ish things that came out, just because most of that ended up on Monty Python Sings later on and or Oh God, what was that 1990s compilation? Final Ripoff. So a
Yeah,
lot of this is in there, and it's all beautiful. Yeah, yeah. No, it's a pretty damn good record. Oh, it's
it's
got
like,
rock notes on it. Never mind. That's why it's the best record, because it's got rock notes on it. Far and
frankly,
away.
yeah, that's hard to top. I mean,
Yep.
Lead Electric Triangle with Toe the Wet Sprocket has had to have an elbow removed. Jesus Christ, Eric, you can't. What can't you write?
Fell off the
God
back of a
damn it!
motorcyclist, most likely. Oh, come
Quick
on.
from a Clooney.
So good.
God, unstoppable. So good. No, I was one of the first questions I asked Proctor when I interviewed him was what happened to comedy albums in the '80s,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a lot of great stuff that
Mm-hmm.
was coming out, but what I didn't know as a child was that records were slowing down. Comedy
Sure.
records were sort of going away.
Yeah.
He made the salient point that starting about in '80 is when you get comedians doing stand up for cable,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it is a lot easier to just, as in his words, do a performance, slap it on a tape,
Mm-hmm.
and just put it out there.
Yeah.
That's probably a lot logistically easier than trying to market an LP.
Yeah.
You
For
can,
sure.
when you can just do endlessly every year. You can do Rodney Dangerfield's New Young Comedians.
Right. 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 Yeah, that's fair. Even though, we should point out that Duck's Breath does have another record.
Indeed, they had a second LP in 1986 called Born to be Tiled.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of bonus material from that one too. Just going to reassure everybody that will eventually be resuscitated with bonus tracks.
That's great. Is there anything you want to leave people with in terms of this record? Because I feel like it's one of those that is obviously worth listening to, but it's also one of those things that maybe you shouldn't sleep on from this era. It's like worth considering. Even if it doesn't have the impact these other records, it is worth considering amongst its oeuvre because it's got just a bunch of really good shit in it.
It really does. This is not really timely at all.
Mm-hmm.
There are moments when you can really tell when it was recorded, but
Mm-hmm.
it feels out of time in the best way that Firesign work did too, which is that you can endlessly come back to it and it will still be about things that are happening now. This is just riffing on old radio tropes, on old radio horror, on educational films. All of the shit that they're riffing on here is still with us.
Yeah.
So it's just something you can listen to for pure pleasure. It's just fun.
They're like half a generation younger than Firesign. But it's interesting though that they're still functioning on the same kind of stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and they definitely came out of Firesign. When I met Leon, he said
Mm-hmm.
those records made a big impression on him. And
Okay.
it made a big impression on all of them, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
They decided very specifically to go in a different direction, as
Yeah.
if you're going to be a comedy group, you must kill your darlings.
Sure.
So, but it was all back there in their brains, having it as reference of what could be done.
Yeah. That's fair. That makes sense. Taylor, thank you for joining me. Thank you
Again for having me.
us finally talking about a Duck's Breath, but like specifically Duck's Breath, not just talking to the Duck's Breath gentlemen because they had their own stuff to talk about. What do you want to promote? Where can people find your stuff? Where can people find Firesign stuff, Duck's Breath stuff?
You can find me on Saturday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Pacific and 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Fuji Puzzle Box, my show on the Sheena's Jungle Room stream of WFMU, where I play differently enough in theme every week that I will eventually alienate absolutely everyone. I mean, I'm probably down to 5 listeners now, but they'll all be gone by the time I've gone through the gamut of alienating everybody. Blog is called also Fuji Puzzle Box, and it's just taylorjessen.blogspot.com. The Firesign Theater is on, they have their own site, firesigntheater.com, with a store where you can buy books and DVDs and paraphernalia. They have a Bandcamp page where you can buy reissues. There's Bear Manor Books, Bear Manor Media, where you can buy a whole bunch of Firesign books, including the complete Magic Mushroom plays, and I can announce that there will be, I don't know when this particular podcast will hit listeners' ears, but we are trying our damnedest to get a reissue of the Magic Mushroom plays ready for later this fall, which is very exciting. And obviously, if you're into Mindless Fellowship, you can find the members of Firesign on Facebook. The Duck's Breath have their own website, and they also have their own Bandcamp site where we are building up a back catalog of reissues. You cannot see the Firesign Theater, and you cannot see the Duck's Breath, although you can stalk them and talk to them individually in person. They are very nice. Dan Coffey is going to be a little more difficult. He lives in Thailand. So you're on your own there. If you're going to figure out how to send something to Dan Coffey, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to figure out how to make that address label in Thai. Okay? That's all you're going to have to do. You're going to have to go the distance, is what I'm saying.
I feel like it would be worth the money to see all of Duck's Breath get together with the remaining guys from Firesign. Screw it, the remaining Python guys, and then Cheech and Chong, throw them in for flavor, and let's see what happens. Let's make this upsetting stew a reality. I'd like to see that happen.
Even if a fight broke out and lasted for 45 minutes, are you kidding? I'd still be on board.
Oh, I'm sorry. Also, remaining members of Credibility Gap. That would also that's also necessary because
that's right.
I want to see Michael McKean beat the shit out of Tommy Chong. I don't want to see that happen. It would be funny to see, but I don't want to see it happen.
We want to, and we don't, and that's what makes comedy.
Exactly right. Thank you, Taylor. You get it. Everybody, I don't know, check out my other podcasts. Go to StolenDress.com. That's where everything is. I've got a few other ones in the works. If you guys go to StolenDress.com, check out our contact page that has our new address. Especially if you're listening, you want to send me your comedy record to listen to that's on vinyl before November when the show ends. The new P.O. Box here in the Detroit area is up there. You can check that out. Thank you again, Taylor, for being here.
Thank you, sir. A delight and a pleasure.
Thank you all for listening, and as always, have a good thing. Comedy on Vinyl is a production of StolenDress Entertainment. It is produced by Mike Warden and is hosted and edited by Jason Klom. Our theme song was composed and performed by Richard Levinson. You can email us at podcast@comedyonvinyl.com. You can also send snail mail to StolenDress Entertainment, P.O. Box 805, Burbank, California, 91503. Subscribe to Comedy on Vinyl on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else you can find podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating and write us a review. It helps. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Comedy on Vinyl, or find everything in one place at comedyonvinyl.com. A major portion of Comedy on Vinyl has been underwritten by Stand Up Records. Please visit standuprecords.com for all your comedy needs and tune in to the new Stand Up Records channel available on the Roku, where you can also find select episodes of this podcast. Visit StolenDress.com to listen to our other podcasts, watch videos, and imbibe freely of our multimedia content going back 15 plus years. StolenDress Entertainment.
Hey, it's my turn. Ah!